On today's episode of P-Dub's Arcade Loft, we're going to take a look at the Unico MVS Mini Arcade Red console. This micro arcade has 45 of the most popular SNK retro games preloaded with the ability for you to also play these on a television in multiple aspect ratios. The good folks over at Unico did send this to me for the purpose of filming a review. I'm excited to check this one out. Now, currently, you can pre-order these bundles, and they have several different bundles, either on the SNK MVSX website or on Amazon. I'll have affiliate links for those in the video description below. The bundle they sent me is the $99 Mini Arcade Combo. This particular bundle comes with an HDMI to micro HDMI cable, as well as the Mini Red gamepad controller, as well as the little micro arcade itself. They also sell the arcade by itself for $79, the gamepads, the controllers for $29 separately, or you can get a bundle with the console as well as two controllers for $122, and again, all that'll be in the video description below. So for starters, let's take a look at this gamepad and do a controller overview. It's got a nice size cable on it, also comes with an instruction booklet. I think that cable's about 4 to 6 feet in length. You'll notice here that it looks exactly like something you might be familiar with if you already own the Neo Geo Mini. You'll notice the A, B, C, D buttons where those are located. That's going to be very important here in just a minute. You'll notice that it looks just like the controller, the official controller for the Neo Geo Mini. It's just got the red coloring as well as the Unico branding on it versus this controller that they sold separately for the Neo Geo Mini when that came out a couple of years ago. And you'll notice, just like the Neo Geo Mini controller, that the buttons are in the same locations, and the build quality of the parts, everything exactly the same. But when you compare it to something a little bit more premium, like the 8BitDo SNK wireless controller, you'll notice that our ABCD buttons are in the right place, as well as you got that more premium clicky joystick. Overall, between all three, it's going to be up to you which one you want to use, because all three do work with this MVS Mini Red. Okay, when it comes to the MVS Mini itself, when you open up the box, you're going to have a quick instruction booklet. You're going to have the mini console as well as a little goodie box. The goodie box is interesting because we have our USB to USB-C cable for power. It does need to be plugged in order to operate. There is no battery. As well as you got your artwork here for the control panel with perforated edges for you to punch out and stick this on, as well as artwork for the marquee. And I got to tell you, the quality of these stickers is really, really good. It's got a nice textured finish to it compared to some other stickers I put in the past on other cabinets like this that were pretty bad quality. I was actually impressed with those. Overall, the unit itself feels and weighs and looks exactly like a Neo Geo Mini, just with the red coloring, as well as with the MVS logo, the Unico logo, versus the other ones, they had different logos. Remember, they've made a lot of variants of this micro console, so the only real differences between them are going to be the artwork and some of the games. So for instance, I already have a Neo Geo Mini. Do I really need this? Well, I never would have pre-ordered one myself because I already have a Neo Geo Mini. The only real difference, again, is some of the games have been swapped in and out, as well as the artwork of the particular unit. I guess if you're a collector and if you like collecting all the different variants of stuff like this, that could interest you. And then again, you definitely want to check the games list because some of the games have definitely been traded out, and you may have lost or gained some of your favorites. Adding the marquee and control panel stickers really does finish off the look. You'll notice in the prior camera shots, this thing looked really, really plain without these. But they go on really simple, really easy. You can't really make a mistake here. And again, with it being perforated and pre-cut, you'll get it lined up perfectly. And again, when you compare it to the Neo Geo Mini, as well as other Neo Geo Mini variants that have been released before, it's pretty much the same size and shape, and pretty much the exact same parts. Slight variance on the joystick, but the joystick feels exactly the same when I played on both units. One looks to have a metal rod on it, and the other one looks more plastic, the actual joystick rod, but everything else looks the same except for the control panel itself. The control panel molds are a little bit different in shape between the units. This micro arcade does come with a 3.5-inch 4:3 aspect ratio TFT LCD screen, and as you can see in these camera shots, the screen is very vibrant, crisp, looks really good. You can hit the start button, get into the options. The option menu is different when this is actually plugged in with HDMI out to a monitor, which I'll show you shortly. You can adjust the language as well as how the games are organized, and you can adjust the brightness and the volume. It's got different settings for each if you're playing in desktop mode here. I'll go ahead and I'll adjust the volume and the brightness a little bit here for best capturing. And of course, you can return to default settings. Easy peasy, right? No complaints, as well as you can hit the copyright button and see that this is officially licensed product through SNK, all rights reserved. So of course, one of the top questions is, how does it play? What's the experience like? The audio sounds good. It does have 2 speakers in this thing, which is really nice, as well as the screen looks very vibrant. The buttons and the joystick definitely feel on the cheaper side, but then again, they feel exactly the same as the Neo Geo Mini stuff that came out in the past. It's like they're just reusing the same parts, changing the artwork and the skins on these things, doing some minor adjustments, and just re-releasing them. But when it comes to actual playing on it, yeah, you can play on it. Let's check out some gameplay here of Shock Troopers. In my opinion, it played and worked very, very well when it comes to the feel of the joystick and the buttons. I didn't notice anything funky on my end, but you can let me know if you feel otherwise. Now again, there are 45 games included on this console, and we've seen in the past sometimes these consoles get hacked and the ability to add more games. We'll see if that comes out for this unit as well. But it's got plenty of games on here for you to check out and try. 45 grand total games, as well as every game has save states. All you have to do is hit the start button during the middle of playing, and guess what will happen? You will enter the save state area, which is really, really cool. And you're going to get 4 save states for every single game. And again, you have to hit the start and select button at the same time. My apologies. You can pick your save state, save your data, and that's really cool in my opinion, because, you know, if you're grinding on a particular game, why not save it? You could also adjust the brightness again right here, as well as the volume. When we plug it into a TV, we'll show you some additional features that are available. When it comes to optional controllers, whether you're using the wired red gamepad if you decide to pick up the bundle, or if you already have the SNK Neo Geo Mini official licensed controller, they all work just fine with this unit. No issues whatsoever. And I'm very happy to see that the 8BitDo SNK Neo Geo wireless controller that's got the much better joystick as well as the buttons in the right place, that works perfectly with this thing. And after doing test runs, playing a bunch of the games, this is my preferred way to play on this unit, is playing with the 8BitDo controller. I'll have a link for that in the video description below as well if you need to get your hands on one through Amazon. Now, when it comes to the HDMI out feature, it's important to note that when you first do HDMI out, it's going to default to a 16:9 aspect ratio, as well as it's going to be more of a pixel perfect option. You do have the option in the settings to change it to a pixel smoothing effect or this pixel optimization, but in my opinion, I never really like that. Some people like pixel smoothing, some people don't. Me personally, I don't. I prefer to turn it off because I just think it looks better. I think it looks sharper that way, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it off because I just think it makes the pixels look a little bit more fun, a little bit more retro. But that's just my own personal opinion. When it comes to the actual screen, though, you can go, when it's hooked up via HDMI, you can switch it to the 4:3 aspect ratio by going into the options and clicking it to this option right here, which I do like, and this is the preferred way for me to play because, you know, this is how these games were meant to be played, how they originally looked, so they're not stretched, and they look the best they possibly can. Like I said, there's a lot of games on here. This is a very fighter-heavy console. A lot of the non-fighting games are gone. There's only like 5 or 6 non-fighting games on this whole thing. Well, actually about 10 if you want to include all the Metal Slug games. So you really have to be an SNK fighting game fan to really enjoy this particular version of the console. Me, I'm not that big of a fan of those games. I prefer all the other SNK games they've done in the past, like their football games, their baseball games, etc. They're like, to me, those are super fun and they were well done. So I'm not an expert by any means in any of the SNK fighting games. I do like King of Fighters, though. I do like playing King of Fighters. I've always found that to be a fun game, but all the other ones, Art of Fighting and all that stuff, like I just never really got into. But from the ones I tested, everything was a fun experience. Overall, in my opinion, if you already own a Neo Geo Mini, you really don't need this thing. unless you're a collector and you really want to collect all the different variants. If you're brand new, you don't have a Neo Geo Mini, but you're a huge fan of SNK fighting games, well then this one might be for you, because this one has the most fighting games out of all the different variants that they've done of these Neo Geo Mini consoles in the past. Overall, for a $100 bundle, I think it's pretty cool for the right person out there. Only you can make that decision. I appreciate them sending it to me for review. Hope you guys enjoyed this product review. Do me a favor, if you did, give me your comments, feedback, reactions below. Leave us a thumbs up on your way out. And as always,